I just want to kind of touch on what's going on with the Warriors. Right? Well, they're one game above 500. They came into the season with all this promise and all this hope. Hey, we got Jimmy Butler now and all this stuff, and we just added Al Horford and we re-signed Kuminga. They thought they was really about to get into it, right? But here's my issue with the Warriors, right? They if you see on the bottom, it says that they're doing their fourth last dance, right? And why do I say that? Well, when the GOAT coach Phil Jackson and the GOAT player Michael Jordan and the GOAT co-star Scottie Pippen and then the GOAT rebounder Dennis Rodman, when they completed their three-peat, you would think a team with the best player in the game and the best coach in the game that just three-peated and they all want to stick together and do it again. You would think a team owner and a GM would bring everybody back and let them see what they could do. There shouldn't have been no last dance for them, right? Your last dance is the year you lose, right? So if it's nice to go out on top winning for the storyline in the history books, like Michael Jordan hitting that last shot against Utah, the performance he had, and all that stuff, man, that's a nice way to go out if you're trying to write a good story. But they'll never know if they could have got their finals ring again in 99. Remember, 99 was the lockout year. So they only played 50 games that year. And then San Antonio won it in 99. Imagine if you only play, you got a lockout year, that means the older Bulls team get more rest. You only play 50 games and then you go through the playoffs. Like, that was a real opportunity miss. All they had to do was bring back Phil, Mike, Pippen, and Rodman, and then the rest of the guys. But they didn't want to do that because I think Phil was in the contract year, so he would have been wanting some money. Michael Jordan had signed two separate $35 million contracts the last 2 years. Ain't no telling what he would have asked for that for another year. You know what I mean? So he probably would have asked for 50. You know what I mean? So who knows? So I guess it was getting a little bit too expensive for Jerry Krause, even though the owner keeps talking like it was just Jerry Krause's decision, and he, whatever Jerry Krause did is what he was gonna do. And I kind of find that hard to believe that as a team owner that 100% of that is all on the GM, and he not gonna talk to you at all about not bringing back Phil and Mike. Like, there's no way the owner, you know what I mean? So I don't believe that, but at some point I think he felt like, man, this is too expensive. You could win the ring, but me paying Phil what he's asking for and Pippen and Jordan what they're asking for ain't worth another ring, because, even if I sell out every ball game from the first round all the way to the finals, and all the advertisement money that I would get for all those playoff games and everything else that comes with extra money for winning the finals, it probably ain't go make sense for him money-wise, when you look at how much he's going to be paying those three guys. So maybe it was too much for him. But nonetheless, their last dance was their last dance. They won it. It rolled off into the sunset. They're gone. The Warriors' last dance was really that ring that they won against Boston. But instead of that being their last dance, I think Bob Myers was trying to set it up, because Bob Myers was the GM and he saw the writing on the wall. At some point, I have to get replacements for Clay, Steph, and Draymond. I have to get the new guys in the building if I want to keep this dynasty rolling. Right? How do you keep a dynasty rolling? How do you go from David Robinson to Tim Duncan to Kawhi? Right? That's how San Antonio was keeping it rolling. The Yankees had a way of keeping their dynasty rolling. You know what I mean? The San Francisco 49ers went from Joe Montana to Steve Young and kept it rolling. Right? You have to find a way to keep your dynasty rolling. And the way Bob Myers was looking at it was, I think Steph is going to hold up long term, so I can rebuild around Steph and I don't have to use Draymond and Clay because they're getting expensive just like Steph is getting expensive. I pay one guy. Y'all two guys either take less money and go to the bench or go to another team. I think Bob Myers was ready for that. So when he was drafting the new team that was going to roll on with Steph. He brought in Moses Moody. He brought in Jonathan Wiseman. He brought in Jordan Poole. He traded for Wiggins. He brought in Gary Payton. He was bringing in all these dudes, and eventually once Iggy retires, West retires, Livingston retires, once those guys go, those was the vets that was on the bench for the Warriors that was helping the young bucks and Steph, Draymond, and Clay push everything forward. What was supposed to happen is the new draftees that Bob Myers was drafting, they supposed to come off the bench, play, learn from Steph, Clay, Draymond, Steve Kerr, learn the system, right? Adapt to it. Steve Kerr was supposed to adapt to figure out a way. These new guys that we're bringing in, how is the new system going to be around Steph with these guys? Because they're totally different from Draymond and Clay. They're different guys, right? So how we're going to move forward with that, and then eventually they play together for a while, and then naturally they're supposed to trade spots. Now their rookie contract is up. They're 100% acclimated into the offense and the system. And now they fall into being starters, and Draymond and Clay fall into being role players. They take less money the same way Iguodala and David West did. And then the new guys, Wiseman, Poole, Wiggins, they get the money. And then they build around Steph that way. That's how it's supposed to happen. They didn't do that. Draymond scared everybody that was supposed to replace them away. either he fussed them out, punched them out, trick. The way it happened, you can't even tell me this not on purpose. There's no way Draymond did not look at this and see what Bob Myers was trying to do and say, I'm not about to let that happen. By any means necessary, I'm going to figure out how to get these dudes out of here. You can't tell me that. Because every single person that came in there that was supposed to help them move into the next wave, Draymond had issues with them. And ultimately, it got them out of here. Kevin Durant came here. Oh, man, he played with everybody. He got acclimated, but then it came to the point where he got to get a new contract now. And now Bob Myers has to think, okay, what do we go do? Who we go pay? Who we not go pay? We just won 2 straight. Kevin Durant, we would have got 3 straight, but Kevin Durant got hurt. But we trying to re-sign him as his contract year. Kevin Durant, what you go do? Right? The whole season before he got hurt, the whole season we trying to figure out what Kevin Durant to go do. He didn't get him no answer. Draymond's mad. He's frustrated. Then he blew up on Kevin Durant on live TV. You can't tell me that tension that was there between them, all of a sudden it wasn't there the first 2 years, is all of a sudden there that third year. You can't tell me that wasn't motivated by the fact that Draymond and KD both was in the contract year, and Draymond couldn't even negotiate with the team because they was waiting on Kevin Durant. So whatever Kevin Durant was going to ask for, he was going to get. And then whatever was left over was going to be what Draymond got. So Draymond was going to have to get in a situation to where either take less money or go somewhere else. And I think the Warriors was okay with that, because if you got Clay, Steph, and KD with no Draymond, I think you still pretty competitive, especially with KD at his time before injury. Oh man, I think you good with that. So Draymond saw the writing on the wall and was like, man, I'm frustrated. I'm already frustrated. And now this little bit of thing, Kevin Durant asking for the ball with the game on the line, makes me blow up and call you the B word and say we don't need you. And that turned into Kevin Durant saying, yep, that's why I'm out. That's exactly why I'm out, right? So KD got ran up out of there. Then they draft Wiseman. Wiseman did real good his rookie season. Clay was hurt. Steph got hurt. Draymond faked his injury. So now you got Wiseman out there still doing good. And then the second year when Steph came back, Wiseman was doing good, but then he got hurt. He was gone for the season. When he came back his third season, all of a sudden he didn't fit no more. And then they started doing what they're doing to Kuminga now, they did to Jonathan Wiseman. Sent him to the G League. He couldn't get no minutes, couldn't get in the game. It was just insane. And why? Because now they got Wiggins, because, they got Wiggins, they got GP2, Draymond, and, think Clay's healthy again. So it looked like everything was rolling. Jordan Poole was balling, looked like everything was rolling. And, a guy like, they had Kevon Looney as well. So a guy like Wiseman who wanted to score, they always got a problem with a guy who want to score. If Wiseman would have played like Kevon Looney, he would have got those minutes and not Kevon Looney, because he's better than Kevon. Like, Wiseman was 10 times better than Kevon Looney, but Wiseman wanted to score, and that was an issue for the Warriors. So they ran him up out of there, right? Traded him to Detroit, and I think he ended up tearing his Achilles, and he ain't been the same since, right? So they ruined that guy. Moses Moody, I mean, he been there for a long time, man. This dude, like, you might see him 2 games in a row, and then you might not see him for 10 games. Like, I don't know what they're doing, Moody. They got, well, you seen what they did to Jordan Poole. He gets knocked out. That fractures the locker room. Kevon Looney was real cool with Poole. Gary Payton was real cool with Poole. So the locker room was fractured by that thing, and they complained about their chemistry and their togetherness, and it was so bad that their best decision that it wasn't the best decision, but in their eyes, the best thing they could do to fix everything was get rid of Jordan Poole after they just signed him. So he got his money, but they was like, man, we can't fix this locker room. It's jacked up. Let's get rid of the dude that got knocked out. Not the dude that did the knocking out. The dude that broke and fractured the locker room, let's keep him. Let's get rid of the dude that got knocked out. And you thought that was going to fix the locker room. So you get rid of Poole, and y'all still don't start playing good. Like, man, what's going on? Is the locker room still fractured? And then you start trying to figure out, man, how can we fix this locker room? All right. Let's start getting rid of people that's cool with Poole. They got rid of Gary Payton Jr. at a time. Then they had to bring him back because they ain't had no defense on the perimeter. Clay couldn't play defense no more. They had to bring Payton back. Then eventually they got rid of Looney. I mean, pretty much what's going on is the locker room, the team hasn't been the same since Draymond did that. And you got guys like Looney and Poole and whoever else was there, Wiggins. All those guys that haven't been, I want you to look at the timeline. I want you to look at how Wiggins, Poole, and Kevon Looney played during that championship run against Boston. And then after the punch, I want you to look at the production for Wiggins and Gary Payton and Kevon Looney. Look at their production. Those were the guys that was close to Poole. Wiggins, Kevon Looney, Poole, Gary Payton. It was all tight. They ain't been the same since that punch. And what's probably bothering them is the fact that no punishment really happened to Draymond Green. None. There was no accountability. And you look at the leader in Steph Curry, and he's condoning it. Not verbally, not saying I condone it and I'm cool with it, but by not saying nothing. It's the same with Steve Kerr. I mean, the little bit they did say wasn't what you need to hear from your leaders. It don't matter what you said if all that dude got as a punishment was, well, you go take the rest of the preseason off, but come back for game 1 ring night. Take the rest. We gonna give you time off. So everybody came to practice and kept freaking running and hustling, and he got a break to go home, but come back for ring night. Right? That's just like if we had a Disneyland trip planned in my family when I was a kid, and I come home with straight F's, and my mom say, you're on, like, the Disneyland trip is tomorrow. She'd be like, you're in trouble with those straight F's. So you're on punishment. But tomorrow we still going to Disneyland because I already spent that money. You think I'm going to take that serious? That's not a real punishment. Oh, I can't go outside today, but tomorrow we're going to Disneyland. A real punishment is you whooping my ass, you taking my allowance, you taking everything out of my room that's a distraction, whether it's PlayStation or whatever, and I'm canceling Disneyland tomorrow. There ain't no way I'm taking you to Disneyland with straight F's. Like it's not even possible. That's a real punishment. You don't tell somebody, take the rest of the training camp off, but be back here for ring night because you don't want to miss it. We can't let you miss ring night. Ring night is already scheduled. We can't let you miss that. A real punishment would have been like, we don't even want to see you for ring night, big dog. And as a matter of fact, we don't know when we want you back. You're suspended indefinitely. You know the type of stuff they did to Kyrie Irving? Oh, man, you tweeted that out. You suspended indefinitely. We don't know when we bringing you back. That was a punishment, and it wasn't a worthy punishment. That was some nonsense. But Kyrie Irving took real punishment in Brooklyn for nothing. He didn't do nothing nowhere near what Draymond's been doing. Kyrie Irving didn't choke Rudy Gobert. Kyrie Irving didn't stomp Sabonis on his chest. Kyrie Irving didn't punch his teammate out on camera at practice. Kyrie Irving didn't try to kill Steve Kerr. Google that at halftime of a game where he was pissed off because Steve Kerr took him out of the game and he wanted to be in the game, so they went to halftime, and he was so furious that he had to be held back by the entire team. And the reporters that was outside of the locker room waiting for people to come out so they can ask questions said that they could hear the commotion. So much furniture was moving, so much shouting, so much, no, Draymond, don't do it. Think about your kids. And that's the guy that Steve Kerr can't separate himself from and can't trade or can't bench or can't move to a different system that don't need him. That guy that almost killed you. Kyrie Irving didn't bypass his general manager and his agent and drive straight to the owner's house to knock on his door to go in there and negotiate his contract that he wasn't going to get. Once he found out that he wasn't going to get the contract he thought he wanted, he went straight to the owner. Now imagine the GM has a job to do and your agent has a job to do. They're negotiating and they get a number, and you hear that number and say, oh, hell no. And you go all the way to the owner, and then you come back out with the money that you wanted. How does that happen? How does that happen? Do you have a golden tongue? I don't know how that happened. And when Draymond got his punishment, hey, take the rest of training camp off, he goes and has a meeting with Adam Silver, the commissioner. And he in there crying to Adam Silver to my some, this is just too much. I want to, I just want to retire. No, Draymond, don't retire. Like, this is what he's doing. This is the type of stuff he did. Smack Yusuf Nurkic in the face. Kick people in the nuts. Like, this is the type of stuff he doing. And he ain't never been punished like Kyrie Irving. All Kyrie Irving did is say, I'm not taking the vax. Like, I don't trust that vaccine. I'm not taking it. And I tweeted out a movie. Think about that. All Kyrie Irving said is, I'm not taking the vax, and I'm gonna tweet out a movie. And he got more heat from ESPN, Stephen A. Smith, Will Bond, Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal. He got more heat from everybody, including his own GM and his owner. They suspended him and did it. Adam Silver, like, he got more heat from everybody for tweeting out a movie about black people and the origin of black people and saying that I'm not going to take a vax, which turned out to be the right move. Even Stephen A. Smith admitted it. Kyrie Irving was right. He was right the whole time. So all that heat Kyrie Irving got for not taking the vax, hindsight being 2020, he was right the whole time. And he's gotten more hell for those two decisions than what Draymond has got for all the nonsense he has done. Only thing Draymond has gotten is rewarded, because every time he does that, every time he runs somebody off out of Golden State, Kevin Durant, Poole, whoever it is, he ends up being rewarded with the contract that he wants. Every single time. When he ran KD out of there, that money that they was gonna get KD, he got that. He got a max deal. When he punched Poole out, they still gave Poole the money because they was gonna give it to him anyway. But the locker room was so jacked up, they traded him for Chris Paul, and then they let Chris Paul go to that next summer, and then Draymond got the contract that he wanted. The contract he was not going to get if Poole would have stayed there. They wouldn't have had the money for him. So every single time he make one of those crazy moves, he ends up getting rewarded for it. When he punched Poole out, I think that was a vacation for a vet not to finish the rest of training camp. I think he finished the rest of training camp and then the preseason. That's a reward for a vet. Oh, man, don't worry about the preseason. Don't worry about training camp. Take the rest of the time off. And they try to dress it up to say he's taking time away from the team. Dude, that's a vacation. You at home taking he said he was taking his kids to school at, and that's the first time I was able to take my kids to school in the morning. So, dude, that was a vacation, dude. And Jordan Poole rocking the black eye at training camp in the preseason. Like he the one. Come on now. So anyway, I say all that to say this. That's their issue. They hitched their wagon to Draymond, and he's older than. First of all, he's old. He's past his prime. It's time to give it up. It's time for him to go to the bench and play that role that David West and Iggy Dollar played. But they already paid him, so now I gotta play him. You getting paid like a starter, like an all-star. So might as well put you in starting lineup. And now Steve Kerr, when KD first got there. All right, so before KD got there, their normal lineup was Andrew Bogut, a 7-footer, rim protector, who set screens and dove, screen and roll. Every now and then you can give it to him in the post, because in college, Andrew Bogut he was the number one pick. He was a good post scorer. Got to Milwaukee and wasn't all that good, but he kind of developed and it was okay in the post. Then he went to Golden State and they just literally took the post game away from him. You just a defender, you block shots, you rebound, you set screens, you dive, catch lobs. But every now and then you could throw it to him in the post. They had David Lee, 6'11" power forward, good post player. So they was playing with two bigs, right? Then eventually Draymond Green took David Lee's starting spot because David Lee got hurt. They had to put Draymond in, and then he eventually took the starting spot. So now you got Draymond and Andrew Bogut. That's your 4 and your 5. Then Harrison Barnes was the 3. Klay Thompson, Steph. That's the squad that got to the finals. They won with it one year. The next year they lost with it. Then they switched it up. Now, mind you, with that squad, that's a true 7-footer. Then they switched it up and brought in Kevin Durant. They got rid of Harrison Barnes. They got rid of Bogut. They replaced Bogut with Zaza Pachulia and JaVale McGee. So you got 2 7-footers. They went and found a replacement for Bogut. They replaced David Lee with David West. So you got you got a true power forward. And you still got Iggy on the bench. So now you got Zaza Pachulia, Draymond Green, KD, Steph, and Klay. You still got big people on the floor. But with Kevin Durant, since he's a true 6'11", some people would say a 7-footer, they had what they call a death lineup. And they would start with a conventional squad, but like late in the fourth quarters or like anytime during the game where they really needed points, where they could put this lineup on the floor where everyone can score, everyone can switch all screens on defense. And that generated a lot of points for them because they applying a lot of pressure defensively, and then everyone is a threat to score on the offensive end. That's with Kevin Durant at the center, Draymond Green at 4, Iguodala at 3, Clay, Steph. That's their depth lineup. Right? They only use that lineup for, and I remember Steve Kerr explaining this. He said, I don't like to use this lineup too much during the game. I would never start the game with this lineup because it's small. But I like to use it sparingly throughout the game. No more than 5 to 8 minute stretches, right? Right. So that's what he said. Well, what ended up happening is Steve Kerr fell in love with that depth lineup, and now that's his new lineup that he likes to play all the time. But he don't have Iggy and KD no more, right? So he's still trying to do the depth lineup with other players. Oh, let's throw Wiggins out there. Let's throw, whoever out there. And so Wiggins, when he got to Golden State, he played more power forward than anything. Gary Payton is a 6'3" point guard. He plays power forward. Draymond Green plays center. They want Kuminga to play power forward. Right? So this is the stuff that Steve Kerr is doing, and he's fell in love with it. He don't want no bigs for real on the floor. If he do have a big, he wanted to be a shooter. That's why he liked quitting posts, which was a rookie last year, more than he liked Kevon Looney. They got rid of Looney. He lost his minutes. Like that's the type of time he on. I start quitting posts as a rookie, no daggone experience, but I won't start Jonathan Kuminga. But when Jonathan Kuminga do get in the game, I want you to play power forward like Draymond do. And Wiggins, when he was there, I want you to play power forward. I'm like, man, this is horrible. I wish y'all could have seen how bad they got rebounded in the playoffs by Houston last year with Steven Adams and Baby Jokic, Sengun. Destroying them on the boards. Get on up out of here, man. Go on home. Send them home quick. And that's pretty much how it is. So the reason why he always say, we're not a championship team with Draymond is because he don't know no other power forwards that's going to be able to switch all the screens on the perimeter and then guard the post like Draymond, and then don't want to shoot. He don't want to score, just dribble hand off everything. Like he can't find another guy that's willing to do that. Every guy he gets, like Wiggins, he wants to put Wiggins at power forward. Wiggins is a small forward. Like you can't force me to be a power forward like Draymond. He did it for like a year. They got a championship, but after that, he got tired of it. And then if you do it too long with the size you got as Wiggins, you go end up getting hurt. Same with Kuminga. You can't keep putting that on people. And he can't go away from that small ball, and he wants to play it all the time. That's the only offense he got is gimmick ball. Steve Kerr has fell in love with a gimmick that was only supposed to be for when he had Kevin Durant, Iggy, and that squad. These gimmicks don't work the way he think it's supposed to work now. All the teams is going to the finals or going back to bigs. Dallas was in the finals. They had Gafford and Lively, 2 bigs. Boston was in the finals and then twice, and they won one. They had Horford and Porzingis when they won it. Before that, it was Horford and I can't remember who the other big was. Robert Williams, Time Lord. They had bigs. SGA and the Thunder start 2 bigs. Holmgren, Hartenstein. Who did they beat? Indiana. Miles Turner. And they had 3 of them. Miles Turner and Siakam. And then who else was it? I can't remember. But nobody's doing it small. But Houston, Adam Sengun. Like, ain't nobody doing that small stuff no more, man. Ain't nobody doing it no more. Jokic is a big. Like, you think you just go to survive with Draymond guarding all your bigs, and he was like, oh man, you could have. They fell in love with Al Horford as soon as free agent started. Al Horford is 1,000 years old. Boston was using him sparingly. They barely played them during the playoffs. I mean, during the regular season. In the playoffs, they played them a little bit more. But even they seen that, it's time to call it quits with Horford. And Golden State was like, we'll take him and we'll try to start him. Because he's a big, they can shoot threes, and he not gonna want to score as much because he didn't score as much in Boston. So he's gonna be okay with just trying to find Steph Curry and set screen for Steph Curry. Like it's horrible. So anyway, let's just end it with here. The Warriors are cooked. They're cooked because Steve Kerr is dumb and Draymond Green sabotaged the team, and the life raft that Bob Myers threw out there by drafting all the replacements for the old guys, Steve Kerr and Draymond Green, they had their hand in sabotaging it and tricking the owner. Like, they're stealing money from the owner because they keep convincing the owner, oh nah, if we can just get this, we can get back to the final. Like, this is a championship team with Steph and Draymond. Oh, we lose Clay, we still a championship team as long as we got Steph and Draymond. Oh, when the season start, oh man, it ain't working. Well, it's because Steph don't have a number two. If we could just get a number two, then we'll be good. Let's try to go get Kevin Durant again. That didn't work. Okay, let's get Jimmy Butler. Oh my God, Jimmy Butler is a heaven. He's heaven sent. He's the perfect fit. Oh, we got whooped in playoffs by Houston. Well, it's because we didn't have enough time with Jimmy Butler and Steph got hurt. But this season, next season is the year. We're gonna win it again next season. Season start. Oh man, it's not looking good again. Steph healthy, Jimmy Butler healthy. What's the problem? It's Kuminga. Kuminga's messing up the chemistry. We got to change our lineup. Now Kuminga's benched. Told you it was Kuminga. We beat Houston. I mean, we beat the San Antonio Spurs twice. I told you it was Houston. I mean, I told you it was Kuminga. Kuminga's the issue. Then we lose 3 straight. Oh, shoot, what's up? What's going on? It's over, dog. Y'all old. This y'all 4th last dance. Y'all keep tricking all the media. Y'all keep tricking your owner. Y'all keep giving Draymond money. We can't lose Draymond. We're not a championship team without Draymond. We don't get 4 rings without Draymond. You keep tricking everybody, and you still got Draymond, and you still got Clay. I mean, you still got Steph, and y'all not playing good basketball. Y'all not winning. Y'all can't win consistently. Steph got to score 50 for y'all to win. What's the problem now? Do y'all want KD again? Do y'all want KD to come save y'all again? KD said, hell nah this time. Y'all won't get me over there and trick me this time. I come over here and save y'all, and then y'all give all the credit to Steph and Draymond. Hell nah. You won't trick me again. All right. Let me get to some of the comments. He ain't no heart and soul. All he do is yell, foul people, and set illegal screens and curse at the Red Sox game. And pass to Steph, literally, dude sucks. Here's the thing about it, right? They say that heart and soul thing, and we can't win without Draymond. We don't get 4 without Draymond. Draymond's the heart and soul. You know, we're not a championship thing without Draymond. I'm thinking in my head, if Draymond mean all that to the locker room emotionally and on the court and leadership, what does that say about Steph Curry's leadership and his emotional, fortitude? Does it say he don't have, like, if we can't lose Draymond, because if we lose Draymond, we just can't. We just can't be a championship team. Like, his voice is just too strong. Where's Steph's voice at? When you think about these top 10 players that they claim Steph is, like, they want to put Steph in the top 10 players of all time. And you think about them, and you think of a Magic Johnson, and you think, who was the vocal leader, the voice? Who was the leader? Do you think the Lakers team led by Magic Johnson would have a guy that you just couldn't lose. Like, oh man, we can't lose Michael Cooper because his leadership means too much on the floor. And you got a whole point guard right here who's supposed to be the quarterback of your offense and your coach on the floor. Like, you know, a lot of times your point guard is that. A lot of times your best player is that. When your best player is the point guard and the best player, you kind of wonder if he's not doing that vocally in the locker room or on the floor, then what the hell is he doing? And why does Draymond have to do all of it? And why is he so important? Like when Kobe was leading his teams with Powell and Lamar Odom and Shannon Brown and Andrew Bynum, I want to know who like, was there anyone on the team? Oh man, we can't lose our test. We're not a championship team without our test. Like, we can't lose them. I mean, he did it with Artest. He did it with Trevor Ariza. So actually, Artest's voice got very small when he got to LA because Kobe's was very loud. Right? Can you imagine if someone say, man, we're not a championship team without Dennis Rodman because his voice and his leadership in the locker room is so huge? I'm like, man, what the hell is Mike doing? Like, think about that. Like, we can't lose Draymond is an indictment on Steph and Steve Kerr. No one said that for Kobe. No one said that for Mike. Nobody said that for Bird. Nobody said that for Magic. Nobody said that for Hakeem. Why the hell we can't lose Draymond? Why can't the Warriors lose Draymond? Somebody help me. Ron Artest was the heart and soul of Lakers. Yeah, you read my mind. Like, seriously, like you want to put him in this top 10 joint. Okay, that means you get to get scrutinized and picked apart because those guys is in the top 5 and top 10. Like, when you scrutinize and pick them apart, they still come out as a top 5, top 10 player. And here it is, we got a daggone quote unquote top 10 player that can't win without Draymond. Not only can't you win, according to Steve Kerr, if you lose Draymond, you're not even a championship team. There's no way you can build around Steph Curry a contender without Draymond. Draymond has to be there. He's essential. Not only as a vocal leader, locker room leader, and voice on the court. It sounds like Steph Curry offense don't even work without Draymond. Like, he's orchestrating all of it. Like, this is the stuff they were saying to get this man paid a third time as an old vet. Come on, dog. Curry ain't no real leader vocally like that. Draymond definitely don't know how to talk to people, punching teammates, and all that. All that kills team morale. Your leader can't be a loudmouth dude. I'm with you. The Curry fans got mad at me. Yeah. The Curry fans gonna have to be mad again because I mean, that's ridiculous. We can't win without Draymond, but they cooked, they chopped, they smoked. Not a dude who averaged 9.7 rebounds, 35 minutes. Yeah, you know what I mean. They cook, and Jimmy Butler ain't doing crap, man. And yeah, you're right. That he taking that daggone that Robin role, and he probably one of the worst Robins in the league right now, dog. I mean, you getting more from Dylan Brooks and Phoenix than what you getting from Jimmy Butler and Golden State. And Phoenix is rolling. They got young bucks. Devin Booker still young. Dylan Brooks still young. Gillespie young. Them young bucks they got in. Yo, they playing some good ball. Dylan Brooks looking better than Jimmy Butler, y'all. Not to mention Draymond was bragging on his podcast about this was last year when before they got Jimmy Butler, and Draymond was bragging about how they come to him and Steph Curry about certain trades, and you know, he was like, he told the Warriors, like, you don't want to make their trade. You don't want to give up your future for this guy, you know, and this and that and all this stuff. But they didn't never say who the guy was. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, you just can't just do any trade, you know what I mean? Because you know. But you got to know that if Draymond is talking like that, he's self-preserving because he's always self-preserved. So he was probably looking at, if we do this trade, how does that affect me negatively? And you gotta understand he's going to self-preserve. I don't know who they was talking about, who that trade was, but just recently on his podcast, he revealed a name that he told the front office not to pull the trigger on, and that was Lauri Markkanen. That was going to trade for Lauri Markkanen. So I don't know if the guy he was talking about last season was Lauri Markkanen. I don't know who it was, but he was saying that, you know, he had to advise the front office that this trade wasn't good for the organization for whatever reason, because you're giving up too much of your future for a guy that we don't know if this is going to work. You know, you're giving it up for a guy that's supposed to help the team, but is he him like that? And then later on his podcast, he reveals that he shot down the Lauri Markkanen trade, and of course he's still in Utah, so evidently they listened. And I'm thinking about, man, what Lauri Markkanen would be on this squad right now, because he can at least rebound. He's a force in a little bit in the paint, and he's a heck of a shooter. But Draymond was like, yeah, he ain't him. But he said, he openly said it was Lauri. Yeah. But I don't know if that was the same dude he was talking about last year, because they had a couple of trades on the books. He could have been talking about Jimmy Butler, and they was just giving up too much for him. Could have been that. But yeah, Draymond is just strategically maneuvering through this organization to all self-preserve himself. Like even Clay couldn't last, dog. Like Clay out of there, Wiseman out of there, Poole out of there, KD out of there, Wiggins out of there, Iggy out of there. Like nobody lasts, and Draymond and Steph is the last man standing. And I'm like, how did Draymond make it out of all those names I named? How is Draymond the last one standing? And he's the only one that's doing all the maneuvering. He's the only one going to go talk to the front office and talk to the owner and talk to the GM and fighting on Steve Kerr when he don't get his way, and punching teammates and cussing teammates out and telling people they don't fit in. Now they messing with Jonathan Kuminga. He's going to be traded by the deadline, I guarantee you. He not going to make it out. All these people are not surviving this Warriors organization, but Draymond is going to be the last one standing. Let that sink in. And Steph is the whole while sitting watching it all crash and burn around him, knowing that this is the dude that got the matches in his hand and the gasoline. He's walking around with matches and gasoline, and stuff keep getting set on fire and burning around Steph Curry, and he's not brave enough to tell the organization that, hey man, Draymond is burning it all down. He should have been the one to get up out of here. When when I first found out that KD wanted to leave Golden State, I would have dropped everything that I was doing that day. I would have flew to KD. I would have told him, bro, I've already talked to the front office. They're about to trade Draymond. Just please sign, dog. Stay. It could be me, you, and Clay. Man, we can keep this thing going like a dynasty. We throwing Draymond off the. Remember the story of Jonah in the well? When Jonah had sinned against God. So when the well swallowed him up, actually before the well swallowed him up, he was on a boat with a whole bunch of people. And since God was trying to punish Jonah, storms was coming through and it was rocking the boat, and they was getting all types of calamities hitting them. And they couldn't figure out, man, like, dang, man, this wasn't even in the forecast. Like, we didn't expect all this. Like, what's going on? Like, they ain't never seen no storm like this. And then it got wind that, hey, man, Jonah sinned against God, man. He down there asleep. And that's why we getting all this stuff. Man, I was like, man, get Jonah up off this boat, dog. Threw this man off the boat. God want him, not us. Threw him off the boat, and then the whale came and swallowed him. God dealt with him. That's what they should have did to Draymond Green. As soon as he did what he did to KD, and I got sense that KD was probably about to leave, as the front office and GM, the GM was supposed to go to Steph Curry and tell him this Draymond's last year. And then you go to Kevin Durant and say, because you don't want, you're trying to go on the championship run for your third one. So you don't want everyone to know what's going on, and then it causes confusion, and then the chemistry is off and y'all don't win. But I would have went to Kevin Durant and was like, look, bro, don't say nothing, but we giving you the bag, whatever you want, and we trading Draymond. It's already a done deal. I already talked to the owner. Steve Kerr don't even know. It's between me and you, dude. You have to sign here. Draymond is up out of here. We throwing him off the boat. Let a whale swallow him somewhere in Detroit. Let him go home, play for his home team. That's what the GM should have done if real leadership was in there. Steve Kerr's not a real leader. Neither Steph Curry. Bob Myers, I like him, but I don't know if I want to, I think he's more of a stand-up guy. I think Steve Kerr's a snake. He only care about the core three. Everybody else was expendable on that team, which is fine, but it's the way you do it. And you can't have a guy that's part of the core three that we're never getting rid of, knocking everybody out and punching everybody out, and those are the ones that we're trading. Like, we got better basketball players that's in the building that's outplaying this dude that's going to take his spot, and he's sabotaging them and forcing the locker room to be so jacked up that you got to get rid of one of them, and you keep choosing the other guy. You keep choosing Poole, Durant, Wiseman, Wiggins, and now Kuminga. Like, these are the ones, and Kevon Looney. Like, these are the guys you're getting rid of because you want to keep Draymond. And it's high time that they stop doing it. But it's kind of too late. It's too late, man, because all the guys that was supposed to replace Draymond Green and carry on with Steph Curry, they're already gone. They done screwed up this rebuild royally. It's a done deal. I'm gonna open the phone lines up for 2 calls on this topic, man, and then I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna get to the MVP race and Shedeur Sanders tomorrow, because I talk real long on both these topics. But phone lines are open. I want to hear from y'all. KD said that the blow up was never addressed, so he was like, F it. Yep. And he said that on Draymond's podcast. Yep. They never addressed it. The leadership was not there. Steve Kerr likes being Draymond Foster dad. I guess he do. The whole time Curry just sitting back witnessing it all. Witness it all fall apart around him, dog. Just sitting there witnessing all of it. Bob Myers ran like Joe. Yeah, once Bob Myers realized, like, dude, everything that I did all this hard work and drafted all these guys, and Steve Curry is telling me he's not going to implement them the way he's supposed. He was like, man, I got to get up out of here. He got up out of there instead of clashing with Steve Kerr, because what he could have done is fire Steve Kerr. You're not going to use my pieces. I'm trying to give you a lifeline on how to rebuild this thing around Steph. You're not going to use them. He could have fired Steve Kerr. I mean, hell, they fired Mark Jackson with no problem. He could have fired Steve Kerr. Caller from Raleigh, what's up?
How's it going?
I'm good. How you doing?
Pretty good. So I just want to bring up the situation with Draymond and the Warriors. So I feel that Draymond would have been gone a long time ago if it wasn't for, I would say, Steph and Curry. I feel those two are both linked together in the sense that Stephen Curry wasn't willing to let go of him. And basically, management was like, all right, we're going to acquiesce to you since, he's the star player of the team. That's what I think it was essentially about.
But yeah, but we I mean, the Splash Brother was Clay. So I mean, how was Clay not handcuffed to Steph Curry, but Draymond was?
I think, well, I think they kind of have a symbiotic relationship in the sense that I think Stephen Curry valued basically Draymond's toughness and his ability to set screens for him, as weird as it sounds. But I think he valued those things more than Clay in the sense that he felt that those things that Draymond brought could not be easily replaced. And plus, he valued Draymond being an enforcer. Whereas with Clay, I think he felt he could replace him, with another shooter, as weird as that sounds, because they did have, Kevin Durant at one point in time. Granted, they were playing with Clay, but eventually they got Jordan Poole. So I think he felt that skill set could be replaced, but Draymond's couldn't, not that easily, as weird as that sounds, I believe.
Do you think that Steph Curry won't like Draymond Green's toughness because he don't have any?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think he valued that. It's like kind of like I said, symbiotic relationship where, Stephen Curry was a star. So Draymond latched on to that because he wasn't a star. He was a very good role player, but he knew by attaching himself to Curry, he could ride that wave. I think Curry felt the same way with Draymond, that he's not tough. He's not a strong person, as a leader and even physically, let's be honest here. So it's kind of like they felt they both needed each other in ways to make up for like their weaknesses, and together that they could thrive, in a symbiotic relationship. That's the way I always viewed it.
Let me ask you this question though.
Sure.
Have you ever? Are you single or married?
I'm single right now.
Okay,
but not married.
Okay, so have you ever been out at the club? You probably don't do it much now, but like in your 20s, right?
Right.
Ever been out at the club and you see the pretty girl and she with all her friends, maybe 3 or 4 of them, right?
Right. Okay.
Have you ever approached that pretty girl and then the fat, ugly one is the one that kind of like prevents you from talking to her? You ever seen that situation?
Yeah, I experienced it a few times in my 20s.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the relationship that Draymond has with Steph. Like Steph is the pretty girl. Draymond is the fat, ugly girl that's out there that no one's going to try to talk to. But every time somebody tries to get close to the pretty girl, Draymond or the fat girl steps in and says, we came together, we all leaving together. She's not going home with you. Dude, I just bought a drink. We was talking while you was in the bathroom. She was ready to go back in the parking lot with me. Now you come in and you cop blocking, right? That's what Draymond did for every player that came to Golden State that could get some type of connection with Steph Curry and could be the future moving forward with Steph Curry. Draymond got in the way of that and said, no, only I can have that connection. Even Klay Thompson was expendable. Draymond wanted to be the last man standing. He wanted to be the one that went home with the pretty girl instead of someone that she wanted to go home with it. That's what it is. He's the fat girl with the pretty girl. That's what it is.
No, I agree. No argument for me on that. That he did what you said. I felt like the thing about Draymond, I feel people underestimate, is that he's a great manipulator. He's very charismatic. He knows how to attach himself to like the leadership positions, like the people in power, for example. He knew how to attach himself to Curry, get into his good graces, win his trust. And once he was able to manipulate him, he had full control. Same with Steve Kerr, same with Lacob, even Bob Myers, because Bob Myers drafted him. So Bob really felt, nervous dealing with him because he had this attachment to Draymond. I remember he mentioned that in interviews before. It was part of the reason why he left, because he didn't want to play a role in standing up to Draymond or getting him traded from Golden State, So I just think Draymond was great at manipulating all those guys. He knew how to do it.
Yep, he did. He manipulated them, and the ones he couldn't manipulate, he tried to bully. It's insane, man. But I appreciate the call, man. You from Raleigh? I'm from Greensboro, big dog.
Yeah, I'm from Raleigh. I'm originally from the Raleigh area. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no doubt, man. All right, what subscribe, man. Stay locked in. Call in again, man. I appreciate this conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, no doubt.
Goodbye.
That was a good call, man. Let's get one more.